He beat her in the head multiple times with a wooden sword until her face was swollen. Then, he grabbed a towel and tied it around her neck and started choking her. He had seen it on TV that it takes 3 minutes for a person to die from choking. So he pulled the towel and counted 1 to 180. But still, she did not die. Determined to finish what he started, he dragged her into the bathroom and put her head inside a bathtub full of water and held her there. This time it worked. His little sister was dead. And this was only the beginning. This is the case of Azumi Muto, the sweet model who was mutilated by a psycho brother and kept in his closet as a trophy. Azumi Muto was born on June 13, 1986, in Tokyo, Japan. She was the youngest of 3 children and came from a long line of successful dentists. Both her parents, grandparents, and the eldest brother and other relatives were dentists. Azumi's grandfather started a dental practice in the 1950s, which became like a family business, being passed over from generation to generation. The family ran a couple of dental clinics and several real estate properties that Azumi and her 2 brothers were given to manage. So as you can already tell, the family was pretty well off, and Azumi and her brother lacked for nothing, at least not money-wise. Their future and financial success seemed guaranteed. They were all going to go to university, study dentistry, and join the family practice. Quite straightforward, right? Well, things didn't really go as planned. While Azumi's eldest brother managed to stick to the plan and become his parents' pride and joy, Azumi and her second brother, Yoke Muto, did not. And what happened next was a total nightmare. Yoke was 21 years old, just a year older than his little sister, Azumi. But despite their closeness in age, the 2 could not have been any further apart from each other. They had 2 totally different personalities and could barely see eye to eye. While Azumi was vibrant, outspoken, and audacious, Yoke came across as quiet, weird, and a bit of a loner. He was apparently born with Asperger's disorder and obsessive-compulsive disorder, and had a difficult time building interpersonal relationships. Although he wanted so much to please his parents by following in their footsteps, it seemed like he just didn't have the brains for it. He struggled in his studies and had failed the college entrance exams 3 times. He was actually making his 4th attempt when this incident happened. One psychology professor would later write this about Yuki.
The brother seemed to have always had some sort of tunnel vision. All he saw happening in his life was growing up, becoming a dentist, and taking over the clinic.
But unlike his other brothers, Azumi had other things planned for her life. She didn't just want to be a dentist like everyone else in her family. She wanted something more. She had dreams of becoming a computer programmer, a model, and an actress. And despite her family's disapproval, she actually went for what she wanted. When her parents tried to pressure her to join the family business, she actually left home at the age of 18 and went to follow her dreams of becoming a model and actress, even creating a stage name for herself. Because of her looks and charm, she was actually able to get a small role in a low-budget movie called Cream Lemon, which was based on an anime. This, of course, did not go down well with her strict and traditional parents, who tried to frustrate her by withdrawing their financial support. Azumi managed to stay away for a while, but eventually she did return back home, albeit reluctantly. Still, her parents were so glad to have her back that they allowed her to not only continue with her computer programming course, but continue pursuing her acting and modeling career on the side. Sadly, Azumi would not live long enough to realize the dreams that she had fought so much for. On December 30th, 2006, Azumi and her brother Yuki were home alone, while the rest of the family went to visit some relatives out of town. The 2 had different reasons for choosing to stay behind. For Azumi, I think it had something to do with her acting career, while Yuki had a study camp that he was supposed to attend. The family was away for 4 days, and they returned on January 3rd, 2007 at around 10:30 p.m. The first thing that they noticed when they got home was the strange stench that filled the house. Earlier, Yuki had messaged them to warn them about the strange smell, saying that his pet shark had died and that they should not go inside his room. However, the smell was just too strong to ignore, So the family decided to go inside Yuki's room and dispose of the dead animal. But when they entered the room, they were surprised to see the small shark still swimming around, alive. So what could be causing the smell? The odor seemed to be coming from Yuki's closet, and when the family opened the door to check, they were horrified to find 3 bin bags covered with gore. Inside the bags were Azumi's decapitated remains. The family immediately knew that Yuki was behind the horrific murder, but why would he do such a thing to his own sister? Yuki was arrested on January 4th, 2007 after coming back from the study camp, and soon he confessed to everything, giving chilling details of what happened on December 30th when his sister died. Apparently at around 3 p.m. after their parents and eldest brother left, Azumi and Yuki got into a huge fight in which Azumi brought up Yuki's constant failures in the dental entrance exams, telling him that he lacked ambition and would not amount to anything. This really enraged Yuki, who told the police that he hated being reminded of his shortcomings, saying,
"I was teased by my sister that I don't have a dream."
To get her to stop, Yuki reportedly took a wooden sword, which is commonly used in Japan for a fencing sport called kendo, and started bashing her head with it. This, however, did not stop Azumi, who continued to berate him, telling him that he was hopeless because he wouldn't study hard enough, while she had a bright future ahead of her because she worked hard at her studies. At this point, Yuki said that he just went crazy and grabbed a towel and began choking her with it. He told the police that he had learned from a TV show that a human being dies after being choked for 180 seconds. So he counted 1 to 180 as he held the towel tightly around his sister's neck. But Azumi did not die, and Yuki wanted her dead. So he dragged her to the bathroom and put her inside a bathtub with water and held her there until she drowned. Still, this monster of a brother didn't stop there. After he had confirmed that she was dead, Yuki reportedly cut up her body using a large knife and a saw and put the pieces into 4 garbage bags, which were hidden in various places in his room. And like that was not sick enough, he actually took her private areas and put them through the garbage disposal in the sink. How messed up is that? He told the police he did so that no one would be able to tell whether she was male or female once her body was found. When he was done, he cleaned up the gore in his room and then, for some sick reason, decided to take one of Azumi's panties with him to the study camp. Due to the horrific nature of the crime, the case attracted a lot of media attention, with many tabloids in Japan reporting that Yuki was a necrophile and a cannibal who had violated his sister and eaten parts of her body. There was also speculations of Yuki having some sick and twisted feelings for his little sister, with some of Azumi's friends saying that Azumi had been worried about his mental state. One friend said that Azumi had told her she was scared of Yuki because she would often catch him staring at her in a way that's not so brotherly, saying,
She was really weary of Yuki. A few years ago, she said her older brother was really lecherous and kept on leering at her with lustful thoughts in his mind. She was really scared. Everybody who heard what she said was really worried for her, but nobody really knew what to do.
One psychology professor who had studied the case also agreed that Yuki could have harbored some incestuous feelings for his sister, which is why he cut off her private parts and stole her clothes.
He and his sister were extremely close in age, and there's no way they could not have had some sort of sexual feeling going on between them. There are definitely the elements needed for incest in place there. I think the girl must have realized something was wrong. The severing of the breasts, mutilations of the body, and theft of her panties is fetishist behavior that displays irregular sexual behavior.
However, the police denied these claims, saying there was no evidence to show that Yuki was attracted to his sister. Although Yuki had confessed to the crime, he pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity, claiming that he was not in his right mind when he murdered and dismembered his sister's body. He would later testify in court, saying that he didn't know why he killed his sister and claimed that his relationship with Azumi was not bad. Surprisingly, his parents actually believed him, with his mother even releasing a statement defending him and making it seem like Azumi was the one to blame for her own death, saying,
Yuki was very kind and never used violence against his family. Unfortunately for him, however, his younger sister Azumi was very strong-willed and she was a child who was almost never able to admit her fault and apologize. However, both of them are irreplaceable children for us. Now I wonder why Azumi didn't say, "I'm sorry," and apologize to her brother at that time.
During the trial, a psychiatrist also testified on Yuki's behalf, saying that his mental state at the time of his sister's death was unstable. However, the prosecution argued that Yuki knew what he was doing because he had already admitted that he and his sister were not getting along, and that he hated her because she was allegedly mean to him and rebellious towards their parents. The eldest brother also told the court that Yuki and Azumi never got along, and that instead of studying, Yuki would spend the entire night playing online games, which was probably where his fight with his little sister started. In May 2008, the Tokyo District Court found Yuki guilty of murder and desecration of a corpse, but they actually sentenced him to 7 years in prison, saying that he was criminally insane when he committed the crime and therefore could not really be held accountable for his actions. This judgment was, however, reviewed a year later by Tokyo High Court, and the sentence was increased to 12 years. He was set to be released in 2021, which means that he's probably out now. What do you think about this case? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and if you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe.